Call for the north side. I don't care about nobody. I don't care about nobody. I don't care about nobody. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't care about nobody. I don't care about nobody. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I don't care about nobody. I don't care about nobody. I don't give a fuck. Yeah.
What's up, guys? It's me again, Mr. XXXTentacion, and today, well, somewhat of a special video. Some of you guys maybe know what this is already, but that is mostly probably the people who know me already personally. And as for the people who don't, well, today I'll be telling you guys the story of someone we'll call Daniel. I'll not be specifying who that is, but that person knows who they are. They'll maybe end up seeing it, and also the people who have seen the story unfold itself as it was happening. Well, they also know who that person is. But the reason I don't want to specify who that person is simply for the fact that if I were to do that, I would be giving that person attention, and I just don't want to do that. That wouldn't really be good, and I'm not going to tell you guys why. You'll find out in the story later, but the simple reason is simply that it wouldn't be any good. I decided to make this video for many reasons. First reason is to expose, even though I'm not specifying who that person is. It's just something that needed to be said and maybe get off my chest, I guess. I don't really know. And the second reason is simply to make this situation easier to understand, because this story is a real story. It's something that happened before, and this story took a while to develop itself and come to a close. So by making this video, I simply want to put a really long story and a really long turn of events into a short video, so it's easier to people. Well, it's easier to understand, I guess, and also as a form of entertainment for the people who have seen the story unfold as it was happening, and you know, in case they just want to relive those moments, I guess. And lastly, I decided to make it so that every time I meet someone new and I end up talking about this situation, instead of having to explain the whole story, I'll just be able to link this video, because a lot of the times I end up meeting new people or talking to some people I've known for a while, and I often talk about the story thinking I've told them about it, and as it turns out, well, I haven't, and I don't feel like explaining the story because it's a really long story to explain. It's really complicated and it's hard to explain as well, and it's a story that I have to go and show people evidences and screenshots and etc. to amplify the story. So I've thought to myself, well, instead, every time I talk to someone about this story and having to take a lot of time and effort to tell them, well, I'll simply have to link this video to them. So that means that there's probably some of the people like this that I've talked about that are going to be watching this. So if I link you this video on Discord, most probably, and I've asked you if you knew about the story, well, you're probably watching this, and so if you are, hi, first of all. And second of all, well, I hope you'll enjoy, because I'm going to stop talking now and I'm going to get into the storytelling. On a random day of August 2017, someone named Ultimate decided to go on a social media website called Google+, like he usually did every day. Ultimate also had a pretty small group of people he considered his friends, consisting of people who supported him called XXXTentacion, which the name had been suggested by one of his supporters in question. Now, the thing with this Ultimate guy is that in the social media he was using, there were multiple communities based on certain subjects about everything and anything. And Ultimate here was someone who played a game called Roblox. And so, a year ago, Ultimate decided to join a Roblox community, and fast forward a year, Ultimate was known to have a few talents and a strong personality. And thus, in that year, Ultimate started getting noticed. He made allies and enemies. He made himself a name. Now, what was those talents and that personality? Now, everyone knows what an argument is, and Ultimate had practiced for years, both because of his online and offline lifestyles. So Ultimate was pretty good at it, better than average. And rare were the ones who could challenge him, so naturally, a lot of people who faced him disliked him, and a lot of people who enjoyed his talents liked him. A lot of people who he backed up liked him. And a lot of people who agreed with his views liked him. And see, Ultimate was someone who always wanted to find out what's right. Obviously, he wasn't always right, and he figured out what he deemed right by learning from his mistakes in the time he was wrong. He was open-minded, despite having the strong personality. which was at times vulgar, offensive, unfiltered, and obviously something that people would either love or hate. As for the roasting aspect, well, to explain it shortly, roasting is basically insulting someone but more cleverly. It is not based on simply insulting them, but it is mostly based on making clever jokes based on the opposite person's behavior, looks, name, and basically anything that defines the person. And making puns, parodies, comparisons, sarcasm, and other types of mockery. And as mentioned before, Ultimate was pretty good at it. Anyway, for the sake of the story, I need to tell you that Ultimate hated liars a lot, among a lot of things that he deemed wrong. So, on that day of August, Ultimate was just browsing Google Plus like he does every day, checking back and forth in his group of friends and Google Plus to see if anything was new. And at one point, as Ultimate was scrolling by, he noticed something somewhat interesting. Some user who obviously was a child and who also was obviously lying. And Ultimate also didn't like kids very much, because from his observations, kids most of the time were annoying, they were obvious liars, and they had no shame in saying and doing wrong things because they were on the interwebs. Also, most of the time, they weren't really self-aware, and they ended up creating cringe, as it's often called. However, the issue is, Ultimate had seen plenty of those already. He was used to it. He thought, man, whatever, just some kid who likes to lie, they're no fun anymore. I've battled them all, they're all the same, they're too easy. So he just moved on over. Until, a few minutes later, that then turned into hours, Ultimate started seeing his group pay attention to this child, until he got interested. He was then asked to go help and figure it out, so Ultimate did. He thought, man, why not, it'll be easy and fast riddance. So, Ultimate came in, simply calling the child out, calling him a liar, easily proving it, and telling him rather politely compared to the rest of his group that he should stop lying, because everyone knew he was lying, and that there was no shame in admitting his mistake. Unfortunately, that didn't work out too well. Ultimate's belief that it would be quick riddance was wrong. Little did Ultimate know, he never knew he'd be getting into a war that would last 2 years with this child. Not any harder to argue against, but not as quickly dealt with as the others, who was called, but not exactly, Daniel. Now, Daniel was, at the time, 13 years old, who had only recently joined Google Plus to try and lie and to then become famous by faking it until he made it, as it's often called. Obviously, he didn't have much dignity. He would be the kind of person that would sell out. He also was obviously really stubborn. At least it became obvious later on to Ultimate. Daniel also had a lot of different things about him, but once again, for the sake of the story, you will learn the rest as time passes, and the story goes on. And then, it started. After a few hours of Daniel not cooperating and not admitting the obvious against him, due to the fact that Daniel absolutely wanted that fame he thought it would get by lying, it was clear that neither one of them would give up. Ultimate defending his title and also simply expressing his displeasure towards people like Daniel, and Daniel lost in his deep beliefs, the war was officially started. Ultimate wanting to prove him wrong so bad that he would admit his fault, and Daniel simply wanting his goal. So, since Daniel wasn't gonna admit, despite the proof Ultimate digged up in his account, including looking at his inventory, as Daniel claimed he was rich, Ultimate slowly started planning his next move. Something more ambitious, something to get in his head, a plan to get more evidence of his lies. So Ultimate decided to get one of his alternate Roblox accounts, more specifically, one of his girl accounts, and joined Lil Daniel while pretending to be a girl, to get info out of him. Now, by that time, Daniel had claimed a lot of things. He had claimed things like he was a famous YouTuber, he was rich, he had a Dominus, which is an item in the game that would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in real life money. He claimed he had won the money by lottery. So Ultimate had to get a lot of information, which he did, as shown in the screenshots given. Ultimate's plan had worked, or so almost. Daniel had been exposed, and he later admitted to some few things, but not everything. So Ultimate kept going. More war, more plans, and it kept escalating for 2 years. A lot of things were found out about Daniel, as he started making up more lies and decided to stand for new things, more specifically, xenophobia. He was later exposed to be racist, and also came out as an extreme homophobe. It was simply not a really pleasant person to anyone with differences. He also was exposed for scamming, he broke the law by impersonating police forces, and also impersonated other people. While not illegal, that was simply wrong, or so to the belief of Ultimate. He lied some more. Example, that he supposedly had a Bugatti Veyron. He also claimed that he was 17, but also his younger brother claimed he was 19, and then later admitted to being 14. He stole artworks and ideas from a group called ODPD, the official one, and ultimately knew the owner of the real group, so he told the owner, obviously. Speaking of which, OD is something in the Roblox community that is known as negative and are really badly seen. It is the act of online dating, and Roblox's reasoning for it to be prohibited is because it's dangerous to children who do it. But it's also considered cringe by the users themselves, no matter who is doing it, and it is seen as very lowly. And surprise surprise, Lil Daniel had been exposed for it as well. He also blatantly and obviously stole creative ideas from Ultimate, like some of his clothes, some of his expressions, even his group's name. And all that in reality showed what Daniel's true beliefs and opinions on Ultimate was. He was jealous. Anyway, the point is, Lil Daniel had did a lot of bad things in that time. After 2 years of arguing, day and night, both Daniel and Ultimate believed one of them would give out. They never did. So what would stop the war? Well, the highest power in the social media itself. That's right, after a while, Google Plus announced they would shut down for multiple reasons. Ultimate wasn't satisfied with the results, but there was nothing he could do. So Ultimate let it go, while still casually keeping tracks on Lil Daniel. And here I am today. Daniel has recently reached out to me under the excuse of, I just want to conversate like respectable and mature people. I don't want to argue, but once again, that was just a claim. And a bit after that, he began spamming me again, begging for attention and trying to prove his points by acting like a child. So after all those years, Daniel really hadn't changed. Will he ever? Who knows? Maybe you will in a few years, if I ever do an update of this video again. But anyway, for everyone that was wondering or wanted to experience the story again, that was the story of the war between Daniel and Ultimate, which in reality is yet to be over. Alright, well, that was the story of the war that happened from 2017 to 2019, I think, maybe, something like that, I don't know. I'm going to have to dig up a lot of evidence that I know I still have to make this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I tried my best this time to make it shorter. I'm not sure how long it's gonna turn out. I'm thinking maybe like 20, 30, maybe 10 minutes or something. I know for a fact it's not gonna be like 40, 50 minutes, and obviously not gonna be like an hour. But still, I plan this video more. Most of the time when I make my videos, I simply don't. Well, I write a text, but it's just to keep in mind the ideas I have. But for this specific video, I wanted to tell you guys a story, you know, like telling a story, an actual story, not just talking about my opinions. I want to tell you guys a story. So I wrote a whole text, a really long text, and I just read it off, and I tried to speak with the best narrator voice I could make, and I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out. I think it turned out pretty well. I also tried lowering the input of my microphone because I feel like a lot of the time my microphone is really scratchy, it's really high-pitched or whatever. It's just not really fun to listen to. So I lowered the volume of the microphone. I also put the microphone a bit farther away from me. And apart from that, well, that's probably about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a very useful video. That was something that needed to be done. And it was really fun to record. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. More videos coming up soon because obviously I started making videos again. I'm really happy because it's been a while since I haven't made videos this short in between each other. The last video I made was a week ago, and once again this is a week later, and the last time I did that was probably a year ago, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed having a regular upload schedule. And it helped me a lot. It helped me get better. It helped me reach a greater audience. And it's just fun. It just makes me feel better about my videos and the videos I create. So if you guys enjoyed, rest assured, more videos will be coming soon, as I'll be restarting to make the schedule again, and I'll be uploading one video each week, mostly during the weekends. So yeah. Subscribe for more because there'll be more coming. Like if you enjoyed. Peace out.